If you've been trying to find a home here in Ocean City that doesn't feel like it's double the price that it should be, you are in the right place. In today's video, I'm going to take you through, in my opinion, the 10 best values that are out there on the market right now today. And we're going to go from low to high. So we have 1027 Ocean Avenue. Now, this is in a little complex called Dolphin Court. It is right up by the boardwalk between 10th and 11th Street. It's hard to get much closer. Right by Playland, the Flanders, and everything going on in that block. So 2 beds, 1 bath, no rental restrictions, which is a big deal. So you could do less than 1 week rentals. A lot of these properties in town do have 1 week minimums during the summer. That isn't always best if you're trying to make this more of an investment than for personal use and really maximize your income. This particular unit, again, does have a parking spot. No real amenities to speak of in the complex, outside of, a laundry room and things like that. But the unit itself has plenty of space, does have wall air conditioning units. Some of the other units in this building have converted over to mini split systems. But for $500,000, 499, this is the best bet under 500,000 bar none. Now, number two, we have another 2 bedroom unit. Now, this one, obviously more expensive than the last, has more going for it. It does have access to a pool right across the street. It does also have a parking spot as well. But the key, and a lot of folks that reach out to me looking for a 2 bedroom unit want 2 full bathrooms, not just the one. So this building was fully renovated just a couple years ago. It is right near the beach, right in the heart of really the center of town, near Holiday Coffee. You can rent bikes right next door. There's a lot going for it, but it's a very well put together place. They decorated it, they upgraded beyond what the builder himself had done in here. It does have a deck off the back. But this is one you have to see to appreciate, for sure. And from a rental income standpoint, they have already done over $35,000 this year, despite keeping a lot of time for themselves. And they're, in my opinion, you could push for 40 plus $1,000 in rental income per year. This price point at 667, 500, you're not likely to find that anywhere else. So this, in my opinion, is the next one on the list, and this is in no particular order. Otherwise, this one I would put at the top of the list, honestly. But this is just, again, from lowest dollar amount to highest. Now, third on the list, we have 854 Second Street, which is a 4 bed, 3 bath, very close to the beach once again. You might sense a trend here. We want to find properties that are in good locations first and foremost. That is what is going to matter to most people. And I am a big believer in thinking about your exit strategy. Even if you don't intend to sell, you still don't want to buy something and have life throw you a curveball all of a sudden. Uh-oh, we need to sell this property quickly. And you may end up having to take a hit on it if you buy in a less desirable location or if there are any nuances to the property that you overlooked in the purchase. Now, this one is very well put together. It is on the darker side, but that is an easy paint change to brighten things up in here. But again, the key with a 4 bedroom going for 1.3 million these days, that is actually fairly inexpensive. Now, one thing before we go on, I want to mention there's a gap here, right? From 667 to 1.3 million. What happened? Where are all the 3 bedroom, 2 bath duplexes that we know and love? There are plenty that are for sale. Don't get me wrong. I had a hard time going through them, choosing one that I believe is truly a good value. Are there some that I think are priced fairly considering comps? Yes, there certainly are. But there are none that I feel, again, the point of this video is to bring you the best values on the market. How I used to do these was I had many categories. If you haven't seen those videos before, you can feel free to check them out, but they're irrelevant now because all those properties have sold. Had many different categories and would try to find the right fit in each category. But inventory is so low now on an ongoing basis that it's impossible to fill those categories. So I'm going to simply scrap the categories instead of trying to force square pegs into round holes, bring you what I think are the best opportunities out there on the market. So again, if your budget is below what we're talking about and where we're going now, number one, I understand. And number two, reach out. If you are looking to get a feel for what the best options are right now, let me know. Happy to send those over and talk them through with you. Again, I just didn't think that they were worthy of making this list unless they could be had for a decent amount under the current asking price. Now, 1002 Central, this is one of my favorites, honestly, with 5 beds, 3 baths. It is a nice corner property. It is just off of downtown Asbury Avenue. This one is absolutely lovely. It does have the option to add an elevator if you want. There's an elevator shaft in place, which is a huge deal. A lot of buyers now want that elevator for accessing the second floor, either because they have a need currently from a health standpoint, they don't want to deal with all the stairs, or future proofing with the plan and understanding that this is going to be a long-term decision and a purchase, and you may not be able to do the stairs as well as you once could sooner than later. So there's a ton of space in here. Again, I'm not going to go through all 54 pictures, but I just want to give you a sense for how clean and spacious it is in here. And the deck is one of my favorites, which I'm going to skip to here. Now, again, pictures are a little bit deceiving here. They don't represent how large this deck is, in my opinion. You have a large covered area with plenty of sitting room and a grill, and then you also have an uncovered area has additional seating. It is very big. And when it comes to Ocean City, that deck space is at the top of a lot of people's list. You do have a private garage as well. It is not shared. It's a very, very nice property. If you would be looking to rent it, I have some numbers prepared as far as projections go. I'll be happy to share those with you as well, but it would be a phenomenal income earner because of its location right outside of downtown. Now, our first single family, and this was a hard one, trying to find single families that I felt were a good value because the price on single families across the board is just so much higher than it used to be. This one on 32nd and Bay. It's a 4 bed, 3.5 bath for just under 1.7 million. Does have a garage, and it just has a lot going for it. Not only being a newer build, not brand new like some others, but again, it's gorgeous inside. The space is well laid out. The living space, the amount of bedrooms, the location of the bedrooms has a ton going for it. So from a single family standpoint, there are others in this category, let's say, that are 2 million plus. Yes, they're in a slightly different location. Maybe they're closer to the heart of town. But all said, I think this one is the best single family out there, bar none. Now, let's get to some waterfront fun. So, this is the best bayfront option, in my opinion. With 3 beds, 2 baths, it's a first floor. There are 2 boat slips, which is a big deal, and one does have a boat lift already installed. So, this, when it comes to where you want to be on the water, if you've decided you want to be on the bay, it's usually the hey, do we want the open bay or the lagoon life? This gives you both. So, this is right near the mouth of the lagoon on 16th Street. And it is very, very easy to kayak, paddleboard, float your way in there. The rip currents and the currents in general are subdued at this point. You're not going to get swept like I did growing up on 12th and Pleasure, where if you're not swimming at low tide or high tide, you better be a strong swimmer. You don't have that concern here. But as far as the space itself, a lot of 3 bed, 2 bath units in general, not just on the water, are on 30 by 100 lots. This one is a pie-shaped lot. So it starts at 25 feet at the street, but it goes out to about 45 feet by the time you hit the bulkhead. So the living space feels like a 4 bedroom because it's roughly 40 feet by the time you get to the end of the building itself. So the living space is phenomenal. The views panoramic from all windows, and there are plenty of windows and doors there. It's just a lovely, lovely home. And I can't emphasize enough that if you are looking to get on the water these days, you're not really going to get on there for under 2 million. Certainly not a single family. That threshold is essentially up to 3 million at this point, which we'll get into in a little bit. But these duplexes, there just aren't many. So if you don't want to be in a true condo complex, you don't want the headache and the hassle of dealing with HOA fees and everything that comes with being in a true complex, this is the best option for you. So next, we're going to get to a new construction on 618 Atlantic. So this is another second floor, 5 bed, 4.5 bath. The location, my opinion, is very good. It is right near the high school. It is right near the boardwalk. And it's a very, very well built home. So for the price, again, new construction 5 bedroom units on a lot this size, this is a deep lot. In my opinion, if your budget allows it and you are looking for a 5 bedroom unit, this compared to 1002 Central, this is substantially closer to the beach. It is still near everything that you would want to be near. You can walk everywhere, not just to the boardwalk, but it's just a few blocks from downtown Asbury and all the great events there as well. So this one is well worth looking through the pictures. It's well worth seeing in person to really get a sense for just how nice the finishes are in that home. So we're going to take another huge leap here. And I was hoping to find some beachfronts, whether they're 3 or 4 bedroom in a duplex, in that $2 to $3 million range, and there simply aren't any. So if you are watching this and you own one of those units, I think it would be an intriguing time to see what your home could be worth on the open market because the beachfront market or the beachfront inventory is extraordinarily low. We'll get to that one next when we talk about two of the least expensive, and by least expensive, I mean pretty much the only units that are currently listed out there on the beach. So, single family on the bay, we have 133 West 17th Street, basically across the lagoon from 1612 Pleasure Avenue. Now, this is a 4 bed, 3.5 bath home that has a ton of upgrades, and there's too many to talk through in this video, but you do have views from the multiple decks. You do have a great master suite on the top floor. You do have an elevator, which, like I mentioned, is a huge deal. Now, this is a 25-foot wide lot, and this is something that, as a buyer, you should see whether you end up being interested or not if you're looking on the bay, because you need to not just start thinking about the location and the specific home, but about the lot size itself. What feels right for you and your family and how you intend to use your home. So this one I highly recommend taking a look at if you are looking for anything on the water. And again, yes, this is on the lagoon, but you have the best views that you could ask for being right again at this mouth of the lagoon. Now, for beachfront, we've got two we're going to talk about that are $100,000 apart, and they're both just under $4 million. So this first one's a townhouse at 1919 Wesley, and I'm going to break my own rule here, bringing these two into consideration because the value on these, they're simply hard to say with a straight face that something nearly $4 million is a great value. All right. I can't do that. I'm not going to do that. But in the interest of trying to at least bring some light to what that beachfront market is looking like these days, I wanted to talk through these. So this lives like a single family, right? It's a side-by-side townhouse. We don't have a ton of those on the island because of how the lots were originally developed over the years. Um, but townhouse life is very, very good here. Right on 19th Street in the Gold Coast, in one of the most desirable parts of the island, you have a huge wide lot with a huge backyard, great views of the ocean. This was built in 1996, so it certainly could use a freshening up to bring it up to modern standards to make it to your taste, and you have the opportunity to do that here. And the other one is down further south at 3913 Central. Now, this one with 4 beds and 4 baths is newer. It was built just a few years ago. You would see going through these, the coffered ceilings, everything you have, amenity wise and finish wise in this home is lovely. So, from a beachfront standpoint, again, we're getting to the point where you are going to be looking north of 3 million for the most part. The last one that I can recall that had sold for under 3 million was a little single family on a 20-foot wide lot that is still under contract as we speak, likely to close around 2.5 million. That was an anomaly. We don't see any of those. There's really just that and the one right next to it. But beyond that, if you want to get on the beach or the bay, it's going to be expensive. So that wraps up our Best Buys video for November. I'm going to attempt to do one of these each and every month going forward, bringing you, again, not just the market stats that you've come to know and love, but I find that this is a helpful way to get people who maybe aren't quite as active or who can't necessarily ascertain and dig through the almost 300 properties that we have out there to identify the ones that are likely to be the best value. So if you have any questions, if you want to see any of these in person, feel free to reach out to me. All my information is down in the description. Would be happy to talk, happy to help you out in navigating all of the chaos as this market continues to change as we move into 2026. So thanks as always for hanging out with me, and I'll see you next time.